queen a4. Interesting move. He wants to attack the c6 pawn, and Pragg now defends it with his queen on c7. Karjakin offers a trade of queens, because now with the trade, this would be clearly better endgame for Karjakin, but Pragg is not going to trade the queens. It's down to 40 seconds. Queen b8. I love this move, because now he's planning to come to b5, and if you ever take the queen, cb5 would improve my structure and also hit the knight. So this is very tricky play by Pragg. Very good move. Queen to b8. Karjakin plays his rook to c1, defending the knight on c4, and I think it's time for Pragg to play his move queen to b5, which he plays. And now, of course, you never want to trade. Karjakin instantly goes back with his queen. But the position, now look, knight d6 is a big threat. There's a fork here, so Pragg covers it. He covers the square, rook d8, and you can sense that there's some confidence in his body language. He can sense that his pieces are more coordinated. Knight e4 played. You're now trying to fork once again on d6. The queen and the rook. Praggnanandhaa has to decide. He's down to 24 seconds. Pragg, you need to make a move. Queen b4. I love this move. Very tricky. If you take, I take. a2 is hit. d4 is hit. d3, there is a fork. Too many problems. And I think this is where Karjakin needs to decide. He can play rook e d1, defending the queen and also defending the d3 square later on. But he mustn't take the queen. And if he does not take it, then he must find rook d1. But he's thinking. And look at his time. He's down to 43 seconds. Praggnanandhaa has 25 seconds. And Karjakin needs to make a move. You know, one of the most difficult things in chess is when you've been dominating the entire game and suddenly your advantage is slipping away. It's very difficult to reconcile yourself that now the position is no longer as great as it used to be. And there you can see Karjakin down to 20 seconds. He's taking a lot of pressure, and maybe this will give Pragg the chance he was looking for. He goes knight c5 back. And in fact, Pragg can now repeat with queen b5, although Karjakin would not repeat the position. But he plays a5 and he tells Sergey that I'm actually happy with my position. I'm ready to continue the game, which is quite sensible. a3 played, and now Pragg can actually chop off the queen and then move his knight. Yes, he does. He takes, knight takes, and now knight f4. Brilliant. Now this is attacked. And also there are threats of e5, because then this is hanging. So g3 is an important move here, but he goes rook e4. This is not a great move. e5 should be played by Pragg, but he finds a tactic. Rook takes, and there's a fork coming in. He takes on d4. Fantastic chess by Pragg. He's a pawn up, but still the black pawns are slightly weak. So it's not like complete advantage to Pragg. He is a pawn up, but white has great compensation. I like his next move, e5, activating his bishop here. Karjakin recovers his pawn, but look at the black pieces. Now they look so good in the center. Pragg now starts pushing his central majority. Karjakin is angling to push his queenside pawn. This is still a massive race here. e4 push, knight e3 would be excellent, because then you can take the bishop, but instead he goes a4. And now Praggnanandhaa pushes his pawn even further. Knight b6 needs to be found by Karjakin, but he actually plays rook to c3. And now can Pragg find rook b8? He finds it, the best move in the position. Karjakin must find knight a6, rook a8, and then it would be a repetition, but he goes a5, blunders the pawn, and now this position is totally lost for white, because Pragg's rook is now active, his pieces are active. He attacks the knight, king comes in, pawn up. And now you can see there, after rook takes a fork, and Praggnanandhaa has one material, which is amazing, and he plays another accurate move, hitting the knight and the pawn. Simply amazing chess there by Pragg. Karjakin was unable to handle the time pressure, and you can see there, he is completely losing now. Not only is he an exchange down, he's also a pawn down, and Pragg is very confident here. You can bank on Pragg not to fall into some knight forks here. Pragg plays his pawn up to h6, pawn g5, but in blitz chess you can never be sure. You know, if you are careless, one knight fork and the game is over. But one good rule of thumb is that you can place your pieces on opposite color square. Like if the king is on a light square, you can put your rook on a dark square and they can never be forked. By the way, a discovered attack coming in. He plays his rook down, king up, and then the rook comes here, putting pressure on this pawn. He pushes forward, but now this pawn is going to be lost pretty soon. Pragg has 12 seconds, Karjakin has 16. Would this be the first ever win for Praggnanandhaa in the super tournament? That would be huge. King g5, knight comes back to d3, attacking the rook, and now the rook moves back to e8. Knight b4, and Pragg plays his bishop to e4, saying, I won't even give you that pawn. And now he chops off the pawn on g6. He's 2 pawns up, completely in control. King comes up to g5. You can see how confidently the youngster is playing. And of course, he's just a grandmaster at this point, but already you can see the sparks of someone who is very, very special. Bishop goes back, gives a check to the king with the rook. King comes down, and it's time to push the g pawn down the board. g5. Now the knight attacks the rook. Rook comes in, attacking the knight. And now knight goes back to c2. Maybe you push the pawn even further. The knight is attacking the rook. And now the rook attacks the knight. This is nice geometry there. And knight d4 played. Pragg simply brings his king back. No checks. Should be able to disturb him there. And pawn to g3. Next up, rook coming in, and Karjakin resigns. Praggnanandhaa scores his first win of the tournament. What a game. He was worse out of the opening, but he kept his